You ever hear a country love song and wonder what's really hiding between the lines? What if I told you that the woman behind some of America's most powerful music, Loretta Lynn, spent her whole life singing truths no one wanted to hear, and now, at 90 years old, she's naming the 5 men who hurt her the most? Not for revenge, not for sympathy, but because she refuses to carry their weight into the grave. Loretta wasn't born into fame. She was born into survival. Picture a crumbling shack in the Kentucky hills, Butcher Hollow. Muddy boots, no plumbing, a mama worn down from giving birth 8 times. This wasn't a life of lullabies and family dinners. It was coal smoke, empty stomachs, and women who learned early how to keep their heads down. And in the middle of it all, this scrappy little girl with wild dreams and a voice nobody expected. She married at 15. By 18 she had 4 kids clinging to her skirt. Her husband? A man named Oliver Doolittle Lynn. Folks called him Do. Loretta called him the first prison she couldn't escape. While other girls were falling in love, Loretta was learning how to flinch without crying. He slapped her on their honeymoon. He pushed her to the floor for burning breakfast. He embarrassed her in grocery stores in front of neighbors in the mirror. But here's the twist. He also bought her first guitar. Drove her to her first recording session. Without Do, the world might not have ever heard her voice. And that's what made it worse. Because even as the bruises faded, the guilt stuck around. She thought maybe this is what love costs. So she wrote him love songs. Songs that hit #1. Songs that filled stadiums. Songs that made people cry, without ever knowing they were written by a woman sobbing on a bathroom floor. Now Loretta says it clear, I wish I'd never written him a single song. I wish I'd walked away at 17. But when he died, people said now she's free. Not quite. Because man #2 was waiting in the wings. Conway Twitty. Her duet partner. Or maybe lover. Or maybe savior. Fans swooned over their chemistry on stage. Louisiana woman, Mississippi man. They thought it was real. Loretta wanted it to be real. She was tired, lonely, scarred from Do. Conway seemed different. He listened. He protected her on tour. But behind the scenes, he controlled everything. The promo posters, the tour dates, even her album credits. His name was always bigger. His concerts took priority. And one day, live on the radio, when a host asked about Loretta, Conway laughed and said, I gave that lady her second career. Her heart didn't break. It detonated. She went home and smashed their first gold record. Didn't even hesitate. She says now, I didn't love Conway. I loved the idea of him. The version I made up in my head. And after that, every duet felt different. Like she was singing to a ghost of who she wanted him to be. But if you think that was painful, wait for #3. Merle Haggard. The country outlaw. The rough-edged poet. The man Loretta called her brother in music. They sang together. They joked together. She trusted him. Until the night he turned her into a punchline. Live TV. Millions watching. The host asked about Loretta and Merle grinned, shrugged and said, I love her like a hen that crows on time. The crowd roared. The cameras panned. But Loretta just sat there. Frozen. Because behind that joke was a message, you're old, you're loud, and you're lucky we still let you in the room. He brushed it off later. Said he was just being funny. But Loretta? She never laughed about it. She never forgot. She says now, I hate him because that joke told every woman watching that we're only valuable when we're quiet. And now we get to the darkest one. #4. This one might make your stomach turn. David Allan Coe. The so-called outlaw rebel who used music like a weapon. In 1984, while Loretta was up for a Grammy, he dropped an underground cassette. Not even an official release. Just a nasty little back alley album passed around on bootlegs in the South. The track? A disgusting parody called Loretta's Love and Chain. It wasn't just dirty, it was dehumanizing. It mocked her voice. It described her as a chained woman in a barn, being whipped, crying, begging for more. And worst of all, it was done in an imitation of Loretta's own singing voice, twisted, violated. She was stunned, speechless. And right before the biggest night of her career.